This is Kris Overstreet, the Redneck Gaijin, and you didn't come here for that. In fact, looking at the chat list, I don't think anybody's come here for much of anything yet. Nope. So, what to do tonight? Tonight is KERBAL Space Program. Random Fast Reader, welcome. Welcome to the show. Hello, I'm wearing a hat. Just a little bit ago, I double-checked the arrival points, and although... Hello, Fax Paladin. Although we launched the rover second, it's actually going to arrive in Minmus local space first. This is going to arrive about 2 hours before the base does. Random Fast Reader just took account of all the cheers and bits that have been tossed around. I'm behind by bullshit! Taisho, it's important for Random Fast Reader that he lead on the bit cheering counter there. He wants that gold number 1 behind its name instead of the bronze number 3. Although it could be worse, he could be number 2. And nobody wants to be number 2, whether it's made out of silver or... Anyway, on to the game. Now, meanwhile, there is a third ship. Yeah, here we are, the Minmus Relay 2. I took a couple of other contracts, and if this ship succeeds in filling them both, we pull about 100,000 KERBUCK profit. And considering that we are down, it doesn't show here, we're currently down to 250,000 KERBUCKs in the bank, and each of these launches is costing us between 100 and 300,000 KERBUCKs. Yeah, not good. Ah, and there's our lovely little lump of mint right there. We're going to stick stuff into you tonight, Minmus. I'm going to put this in orbit and then put the ore station, the mining station, in orbit. And I'm going to land the mining station first. This has some limited ability to move to the mining station. Not true the other way around. Fax Paladin, also a fellow Texan, says, Texas seasons. Not summer, almost summer, summer, and still summer, damn it. I would put it slightly differently. The 4 Texas seasons are damn it, hell, shit, and fuck. And I'll leave it to y'all to guess which season applies to which word. Josh, last I heard, England had only 1 season. England. All year round, it's England. The other mission, the third one, is a combination tourist flight and satellite insertion. We're probably going to have to show that one a little bit, but it's mostly boring and cheap. Stuff we've done before, not really interesting. And we've got 2 days in game time between this arriving at its maneuver node and that having to make its orbital insertion burn. Random Fast Reader, remind me where you live again, please. 60 degrees hot. If it's 60 degrees outside here where I live, I've got the heater on. All right. Orbital insertion burn in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Fax Paladin just quoted Burns and Swan. Not Burns and Swan, Flanders and Swan, that's right. Burns and Allen, Flanders and Swan. Okay. Looks like there is kind of a problem here. And now there really is a problem because connection to the surface just cut out. So have I gotten orbit? Yes, I have gotten orbit. And probably for the best that I cut the engines when I did anyway. Okay. This is our landing zone, and I've already sent the Minimus Station's lander down here in the zone to provide a kind of marker for us, and also to give us our 4th engineer. And then when we're done here on the surface, we're going to pack that engineer and 1 other in here, because there's 5 Kerbals waiting for us on the surface of the moon. The thing that worries me is that this ship is not burning level. There's some sort of imbalance in the system somewhere, and I think I know where. This should have been on the inside, not this far back, and this is throwing off the balance of the craft. I can see that right now. Anyway, here's our target. I think it's going to be in position for a still in line of sight of Kerbin when we get down there. But just in case, I'm not going to take this thing completely down. And of course, there's also the fact that Minimus is rotating under us, so I have to overshoot slightly to account for that. Come on, turn. Or rather, slow down. Okay, we're suborbital. The big problem is there is not any flat surface anywhere on this plateau. In fact, the more I looked for a flat spot where there's ore deposits on Minimus, the more I found 0 of them. Switch to landing modes. There we go. That imbalance could be a serious issue coming down. All right. Looking at the map, still overshooting by a little ways. And that appears to be better, just barely overshooting. Still staying on the plateau. It's not flat, but I think it is shallow enough with the redesign that this will be able to land safely. And if not, we've still got 2,900 meters per second of delta V to try and save this bastard. You can see our shadow. Alright, we're very slowly descending, as you do on Minimus. But we're coming down to 2.5 kilometers altitude. So far, our reaction wheels are not all I could wish, apparently. We're landing about 1.5 kilometers away from the lander. Well, a little bit less than that. And for some reason, I'm getting one hell of a flicker vision. Okay, I have to cut engines to let us drop a bit more. We were down to 5 meters per second at 300 meters above the ground. All right. As you can see, it's sloped. It's very sloped. Okay, under 100 meters and very gently descending. Okay. We are down and stable. And this thing is more than capable of taking care of itself, apparently. All right, let's extend everything now. Now, the $64 question is, the survey says that this has some ore deposits. Does it? Yep, not a great lot of it, but it has some. All right, we are in business, at least temporarily, but we can't really do much until we get the lander down here. Because the main purpose of this mission is to take these empty ore tanks here and fill them up. Okay. And it looks like we might as well just go ahead and get on retrograde and head down right the hell now. Because our trajectory is not too far off perfect. Or no, actually it is pretty damn far off perfect. Right, we'll make it work. Okay, that's that for that. Okay. And now it's time to switch over to this probe core. Control from there. Huh. Okay, reaction wheels to full. There we go, that's fixed it. Alright. Not already. Activate engine. Activate engine. Activate engine. Activate engine. And there we go. All right. Looking good so far. It may seem overkill to have both landing gear and wheels on this thing, but I wanted to take no chances whatever of breaking off the landing wheels on landing. That would be what you call a showstopper. Oh boy, yeah, we were about to overshoot that big time. Still not doing wonderfully. And now we have to drop about 19 kilometers in minus gravity, which is why I'm time warping. Still not particularly good. We are almost certainly going to have to use the hell out of these wheels. And that's us coming down almost perfectly on target according to the projection. That won't last long with gravity, but it helps. And we're about to drop below 8 kilometers, we're now going down at about 44 meters per second. Still 3,000 meters per second in the tank. So we're doing decently on approach. Alright, that's probably as close as we're going to get an approach. I'm now slapping on the brakes hard. Going to zero out my lateral velocity entirely. Okay. And now setting it to radial out. And down we come. There's our shadow. Yay us. One last double check to make sure we have line of sight back to Kerbal and or relay satellites. This would be a hell of a time to lose probe control. 600. 500. 400. 300. 200 meters at 10 meters per second and slowing. We can actually see the precise shape of our ship in the shadow. Four meters per second at 80 meters altitude and descending. Touching down around 2 meters per second. And contact. And we've got 2 kilometers of driving ahead of us. We're on our wheels. And we're rolling. Okay. I'm being very damn cautious with this because basically if I wreck this thing, it is game over for the mission. The problem I have is when I steer, it turns the wheels outwards or inwards. It doesn't turn them left or right. And roll control does nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the steering direction on two of these and turn them to inverted. Let's see if that fixes that. Not exactly. It makes it crab. Okay, steering disabled on the rear wheels. And that just about solves the problem. So we don't have quad steer like you do on a halfway decent Rover, but at least I've got some semblance of control about it. 400 meters away and closing on the station. I'm coming over here to where the docking ports are. And brakes. And this is a chunky boy even with the brakes and me putting it in full reverse gear. Probably minimus gravity at work. Okay, brakes back off so I can turn. Yeah, even going slowly, I can see where this thing is doing a four-wheel drift on the minimus surface. There is very little holding us down. I have to shut one of the radiators here. And interestingly enough, shutting the radiators is cooling this thing off. That stuff's tucked away, which should give us a clean shot at that docking port. This is going to be a pain. We have a dock. We got it docked, thank goodness. And good. The rover is fully refueled. We are slowly refueling the ship, but while we're refueling the ship, we are actually using up the ore that we had stored because the refinery is using up the ore faster than we can drill for it. I'm beginning to think that I should have put the drills on the habitat. Look how big that rover is compared to a KERBAL. We are in the territory of the absurd here. It really is looking like engineers are absolutely useless. They're supposed to be able to repair stuff, they're supposed to be able to make mining more efficient, and they don't really do either. Well, you know what, kid? If that's the deal, then let's go ahead and get you in the lander if you're not doing any good here. We can take you up to the Minimus space station and send you down when we have a ship comes by here with extra crew space. Up we go, over the minty fresh surface, higher into the sky. Flying on an improbable backpack, isn't this completely nuts? Engineers are very important to mining, but their effect is listed badly. Well, this is true. Or at the very least, their effect as listed does jack shit. Fire on the west on the 270 in 3, 2, 1. Ups to daisy. And poor Tandok is disappointed that he didn't get to go push buttons on the mining base. And Tandok is smiling again. Yay, I'm not on Minmus anymore. I was down there for 2 weeks. Screw Minmus. Yeah, Tandok, that's why you don't get Christmas bonuses anymore. And eyeballing it. I'm really wishing that what SpaceX implemented on that website was implemented for Kerbal Space Program. It really is a much superior docking system. We're still catawampus, so this is going to be a wiggly docking approach. There we go. All right, that's back in place and ready for future use. Staying at optimal temperature. Heating, cooling, etc. We've got plenty of that. We're keeping it at perfect temperature. Yeah, I've extracted a lot of ore, but I haven't kept any of it. I'm just busy refueling this thing. The question is whether or not this thing has enough battery power to run through the night. On the moon, definitely not. Okay, that's going to be a shutdown. And SES disengaged, yeah. No great surprise there. All right. So we warp until sunrise on... No, we don't. Because we have an incoming ship and I need to watch that more than anything else. Jebediah is flying this mission himself to make sure nothing goes wrong. Much. And we have 2 tourists who are paying a little bit more than enough money for this entire rocket when it first launched. And then we have a teeny tiny satellite on here. The only requirements are that it have antennas and can generate power. Well, we've certainly done that. And we've also given it an ion engine in case it needs to make orbital adjustments after the fact. Burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn. Minmus Inferno, burn, baby. Minmus Inferno, by the same people that brought you military intelligence and idiot genius. 283 by 282, 244 by 245. That's damn near perfect. We get this down, we eject the satellite, and we should be golden. Not quite finishing the burn because I figure that the decoupling we're about to do will finish it off for us. There we go. Flyby Minmus, orbit Minmus, orbit Minmus. You've successfully deployed our satellite in orbit of Minmus. Excellent. We have a new relay satellite around Minmus. And now these boys can go home. This, it kind of looks like overkill a bit, but it really isn't. Right now, the ship that's up in Minmus orbit about to come home has 802 meters per second of delta V, which means we were only 600 meters per second over budget for the whole damn launch. Here under the fairing is the satellite. Both antennas flip down. Extra battery, probe core, a little bit of xenon, a little bit of xenon burning engine, and that's about it. Oh, and solar panels, of course. Other than that, this was pretty much the standard tourist deal. I'm actually hoping that having the fairing base here in between the passenger compartment and the heat shield will kind of help a little bit keeping this thing pointed stable. With this rig, that was always an issue. And I'm pretty sure that 2 parachutes is good enough. Kerbal Sun, won't you come and power up my drills? Kerbal Sun, won't you come, won't you come? Yeah, we are about to get a sunrise. There we go, we have power. And we're going to try to get it to the station and get that contract finished, if we can, tonight. Ooh, crap, I forgot about that maneuver node. Well, I forgot about the tourist ship that's just missed its maneuver node, big time. Not a complete orbit around, but we're well behind burn. Let's go ahead and try it anyway. No periapsis. That might be painful. How about we tap the brakes just a little bit? Okay, there we go. Periapsis of 46 kilometers, that's good enough for the time being, and that is 11 days away. So we have a bit of time yet. And yeah, as we see here, we're going through the Minimus day at fairly high time warp, and the ore tanks are being damn slow to fill. Still going at time warp. My dinner is waiting in the microwave. The science oven is angry at me. Yeah, well, the microwave can wait until I finish taking medicine at least. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. His food went beep, beep, beep. A pills down the gullet. And shortly, spaghetti will follow. Okay, one more day's worth of mining, one more full day, should get us filled up here. And then the question will be, how much delta V will this thing have with full tanks all the way around? With empty tanks, it's got well over 3,000 meters per second. Thrust weight ratio 9.18. Jesus Christ. And because it is a thing you do on the internet, since there was an internet, there's my dinner. Spaghetti with a little bit of meat sauce and meat stuff, and mozzarella cheese melted on top of it. But because I'm not a total heathen, I will not force you to watch me eating it. You will have to endure hearing me eat it, but there's nothing I can do about that much. It's just the kind of unique and engaging content that you come to expect out of Twitch and or YouTube. Back to fast forwarding while these tanks finish filling up. You might not be able to make it out, but there's Kerbin right there. Kerbin's there, and I can just make out the moon here. I'm glad I've gone back to recording at 1280. Hopefully that'll look nice when I finally get around to editing this for YouTube. All right. Meanwhile, let's watch at fast forward 100 time a Minma sunset. And there she goes. And with it, our electrical recharge. Oh. And our ore tanks are full. And now I'm going to go ahead and use power to resume refilling the fuel tanks, because as I said before, the contract is for 2,800. The rover holds 3,000. Should be getting a sunrise any moment now. Having to do that so that the probe core in this thing will have power. The tourist ship is on its way back to Kerbin, but it's a slow ship. I think it's only 3 out of 11 days on its way back home. Undock. And reverse. Okay. 1,378 meters per second. meters per second. Thrust weight ratio of 8.17? No way! How the hell? And this thing is running away on me for some reason. The weight of the... Why the hell are you not thrusting? Why the hell are you not doing anything? SES on. Thruster should be running. Okay. Oh, now you run. What the hell? No. Oh boy. No probe control. Yeah, facts, I just now noticed. That's an issue. That's a major issue. Joe, I fucked up. How badly did I fuck up? Pretty damn bad. The hell of it is, we should have line of sight on the relay satellite. Can I even... Nope, no steering. Okay. Control from here. Can I just do a simple vertical blast? Okay, whatever else happens, we're not going to roll off a cliff. Without probe control, my options are full on or full off thrust. That's it. But the thing is, by getting up above the horizon, we might be able to get a relay satellite engaged. And next time, I will have to be... On the moon, when I do this, I'll have to be very careful to watch for probe control for signal from Kerbin, because this thing started out with just under 1,400 meters per second of delta V. That is just about enough to get off of the moon and into stable orbit, maybe even to get into Kerbin orbit, but there's not much margin for error there. But as you can see, this is not what you would call a stable orbit or anything even thinking about being a stable orbit. All I'm concerned about at this point is an orbit, while we have a connection. Get prograde again, and quickly, please. We're about to lose signal again. Polsat 4B, we are getting this off of a relay. The problem is it's a relay around Kerbin. 122 kilometers by 12 kilometers. But we have an orbit, and we have just over 1,000 meters per second of delta V left in the ship, with which we need to make an arrangement to get to the high orbit gas station. There's the tourist ship. It's still up at the same altitude as Minmus is, so it's going to be a bit of a time before it makes it all the way back down. This rover currently weighs 54 tons. 54 tons. Damn. Good enough. That's only for circularization. 19 years old. Random fast reader. See the gray here? I'm more than twice as old as you are, dude. Jesus. Oh, boy. Thank you for your support, man. It's nice to know that I'm not 100% useless to the younger generation. Okay, that's good enough for now. 8,100 kilometers at periapsis, and we'll make a burn when we get down there for intercept refinement. We are pretty badly off the plane once we leave here, but that's all right. Random fast reader, that's a hell of a lot of stuff to be at 19 years old. Congratulations. Seriously. Wastewater maintenance and lawn maintenance, machinist, mechanic skill, computer tech. You're picking up a hell of a lot of useful skills, man. Meanwhile, let's switch back to this. So we're just going to go ahead and ride this on down and make a braking burn to ensure a nice, safe return. We're coming down over crap. Yeah, that is basically saying raise the periapsis a little bit and do an aerobraking burn because I do not want to come down on any of that. Okay, there's Kerbin. I emphatically do not intend to bring her down this pass. The tourists have been flying for 20 days and they're getting an extended package, whether or not they wanted one. Hello, boss. I'm afraid I'm going to have to call in. I'm not going to be able to make it to work today. You see, the little green man up in the capsule says that we have to make another orbit around the planet, so I can't land yet. About how well would that go over with any of your bosses? All right, here we go. We'll be passing through pretty damn hot, and I might have to use some of the fuel to slow down and prevent us burning up or exploding. Orbital speed of over 3,200 meters per second. The good news is we're not going to be in atmosphere all that long. Even with this little bit of aerobraking, our apoapsis is dropping like a brick because it was just that high up in the first place. And now I'm just watching to see how low the apoapsis is going to drop. My ideal is for an orbital period of 4.5 hours. But we're not even remotely close to that. It's 2 days and 3 hours, which is not really good. But 1 day and 4 hours might be workable. Whoops, a little too much. 1 day, 3 hours, 39 minutes. Kerbin's rotation period is 6 game hours long. 6 game hours in a day. So I'm gambling that by the time we come back, the planet will have rotated so that we end up coming down in this area by this kind of sort of fake Korea. All right, let's see how close I came on my guess. Map. Periapsis. Pretty good. Pretty good. There's the ablator, nice and fresh and ready for use. I would have done better if I'd had it be a slightly over 1 day, 4 hours. We'd have landed closer to the Kerbal Space Center, but at least we're not landing in the Bad Day Mountains, and we're probably not going to land on top of that peninsula either. On the other hand, those mountains there are a little bit closer than I like to see, so hopefully we slow down quick enough to where they're not an issue. All right. Jebediah, bring him home. Come on, slow down more, slow down faster. The burn I made pushed the periapsis a lot further downrange than I'm happy with. Yeah, I have chosen poorly, apparently. Should have burned quicker. There's the moon, isn't it pretty? There's the ground, isn't it close? And getting closer, and taller. Facts, this is Kerbal Space Program. They're all interesting landings. It's just that some of them are interesting in the English sense of the word, and some of them are interesting in the Chinese sense. This is the latter. Thankfully, the trajectory is shortening really quick, so we're falling short of the worst of the mountains, and we're probably going to fall short before any of the mountains. But we're probably coming down on land with only 2 parachutes. It would be really nice if that shrank up just enough so we drop in the mouth of that bay right there, but I have my doubts. Well, Shanster Kerman, Jodred Kerman, I hope you got your money's worth. Yeah, John would say, yeah, it was fun, and Shanster says, well, it was okay, I guess. Parachute, green light. Trajectory on land, lovely. Pop the chutes. We're gonna need all the preparatory slowdown we can get. Parachutes are open. We're descending at a nice safe speed. Looks like you guys get to live. Isn't that wonderful? Acquire 2,800 units of fresh ore from Minmus, but it's not giving me credit for having 2,800 units of ore in my vessel. So I'm kind of wondering about that. I am seriously wondering about. Acquire 2,800 units of fresh ore from Minmus, put your ore in orbit of Kerbin, maintain stability for 10 seconds, complete. Have 2,800 units of ore in your vessel, not. Why the hell do you not generate encounters unless I've got a moon encounter? Minmus is mine. Seriously, Jeb, suck it. Signed Bill. Alright. And for somebody, that was worth over 100 grand of Kerbucks. Chugga chugga chugga. Alright, I took a couple of contracts that I'm going to run off screen because they are absolutely trivial, boring things. Rescue a Kerbal from low Kerbin orbit, and test a certain part landed, which means all I have to do is just barely get off the pad and then we're good. That's workable. That's very workable. RCS. Relative speed is a bit on the high side, though, 181 meters per second. Let's go ahead and see if we can't make it go one more time around and come back. We have the fuel to test it. Of course, there's a danger of a moon intercept. 35 kilometers at 166. .9, that's as close as we get, really. But now I'm very much on the clock, and I need this to dock now. And it's not giving me any further intercepts anyhow, so I will have to eyeball it the rest of the way in. Less than 25 meters to go. Less than 20. Slowing down to 0.4 meters per second. Okay, I'm worried about the solar panels clipping, but I can't retract the small one. We have a dock, and nothing wrecked. Okay, contract. Show me damn contract. It's still not giving me the have 2,800 units of ore in your vessel thing. I have no earthly idea what that's on about. And I'm seriously considering just cheating, going into the save and flipping that to yes. I left the seats on this thing for my first idiotic idea of launching crew members up on this thing. So maybe if I put a KERBAL on it and undock, it will count it as a ship. Board, okay. Tumpy 2. Alright. Now we undock. Tab. No. It still doesn't give it to us. What's really annoying is that on the contract to extract ore from the moon, acquire 2,400 units of fresh ore from the moon. We have that. Or we have the ore, but it's not from the moon. But it does say have 2,400 units of ore in your vessel, which obviously we have. But then once I've got that, then we take everything to the moon. Seriously? Now I am about to wreck shit. Itsune, what do you mean by check my load? The moon contract agrees that I do have 2,400 units of ore in here, which I have. Oh. I'm just short. I am just fucking short. I thought I had over 1,400, and I don't in each of these tanks, and that explains it. That explains it. Which means I've got to refuel this ship and take it back to Minmus. And we're going to have to go back to Minmus for another 60 units of ore that I should have had the first time, but I was careless. Eve probe orbiting the sun 8 days from its flyby. We can grab everything from high Eve orbit, low Eve orbit, and possibly even get in a flyby of Jilly. And that will happen on Monday. We'll get to see plenty of it next time anyway. We started tonight with 245,000 Kerbucks, give or take. We are now back up to 503,000, and we're going to start out Monday with 600,000 in the pocket and a chance of going back to nearly 900,000. We're back in business, folks. The Minmus miner didn't get us all complete, but we're not too far away from it. And when I finally do get back to Minmus, get that last scrap of ore, and bring it back up, that'll be another 654,000 Kerbucks, which will make us nice and solvent once more. By comparison, we only get 400,000 more Kerbucks once we finally get ore off the moon. This has been Kris Overstreet, the Redneck Gaijin, and thanks big time to Random Fast Reader, Josh Bosch Games, Itsune19L, Guess a Name, Fax Paladin, Crazy Cynical Commander Root, Cheese God 86, and Bristle Rich. Here is the slightly outdated thank you for your support page. I need to adjust that. But in the meantime, I'll see y'all Saturday night, 7 p.m. Here's the cog. Good night.